So we tried the long distance when she went to Dallas, and it never worked. I mean, it never worked in high school. It never worked when we were friends. It never even worked when we were acquaintances. From us being close, from us not being close, it just never worked. So of course it was inevitable that it was never going to work when she went to Dallas. Plus, I mean, when you're me, a vulnerable, emotional man, emotional little boy, insecurities, anxiety, she's gonna go find somebody else. She is going to go find somebody else. And I'm gonna be back here as a nobody. So what did I do? I was like, music. I needed to dwell into my music. I didn't have any friends. I pushed everybody away for her. And like I said, when I was projecting, when she projected all her ugliness at the house and her trauma, she projected that energy to me because she didn't know where to put it. So I projected it to my friends. I projected it to everybody. My whole high school career, if you ask anybody, you know, he was distant. Sometimes he'd be gone for like 3 months, the whole semester, or the year. So I didn't have any friends. I pushed everybody away for her. So the only thing that there was music. And that's when my insecurity started coming. That's when she started being dry. And when she was always dry back in high school, that person was always dry back in high school. And that would anger me. It would piss me off because I didn't know how to be emotionally intelligent yet. I wasn't intelligent. I didn't know how to have patience for a woman. I didn't know how to have patience for anything. I wanted her. I wanted everything now. I wanted to be the greatest musician, and I wanted to have her forever. So I started dwelling into music, and every time she would just be dry, I would literally go on this whole rant and give her like a whole paragraph of a text message and tell her that, you know, I love her. Sometimes I would be like, she didn't know what to say. And maybe this was where her belief was non-existent, or maybe she heard it before. Beats me. Sometimes she would just be dry. Send her this whole paragraph, and she'd just be like, okay, or wow. You know, just short, dry. And if I had known anything from previous relationships before her, the girls were always thinking of getting with the taller and hotter guy who knew how to spit game, who was confident, which I was not. So I kept thinking, oh, what if she's texting me and she's with so-and-so in bed the same way I was with her when she was texting so-and-so about how it was. And I think the one thing, like if I had to think back on the whole thing where I can relate to her now, but back then I didn't understand it. I did not understand it. I mean, the first time she came over to my house, she had pictures of her exes still. And I mean, these exes were long gone. And she's just scrolling through them, and I couldn't tell if we were wanting to be a thing or if we were a thing. But anyway, she knew that how much I cared for her. And then I think a lot of people in high school, and when they hear this, she sounds like she was a hoe. I mean, like I said, ignorance was bliss at the time. I just saw her as her. I saw her as just human. I saw her as an individual. And I'm not saying that I was ignorant to not seeing what she did and hearing the rumors. As much as it sounds like I'm getting with the cheerleader and the preppiest girl, I felt like I was wanting to get with the most prettiest girl, if you ask me. She wasn't doing anything to be in the popular crowds. She kind of, and I think that's where when I started saying things like, I feel like we're the same. That's when I started feeling connected. And ever since then, I have been connected. But she was never within, the popular people. So to other people, it sounds like she was a hoe. Sounds like she was a slut. Sounds like she was all these things. But to me, I saw her, like I said, as an individual, as herself. First, middle, and last name. I didn't see, I don't care what other people you've been with. I don't care the experiences. I actually love you for you. I actually want to be with you. And I think that's where she started to be like, okay, maybe I can come back to this person. I think the one thing that hurts, and I have to laugh about it, I have to. I think one of the times that she did have belief, if I had to think about the times that she did have a little bit of belief before it was just non existent or pure, she did ask me to prom. And this is where it starts getting blurry. I couldn't tell why I said no. I don't even remember saying no. It's pretty funny because Dallas, I don't remember saying I couldn't go to Dallas. I remember feeling it, but I don't remember saying it. And then prom happens and she tells me, let's go to prom. And she's happy. And maybe like ignorance was bliss at the time. And I'm thinking, wow, maybe still to this day, I don't know. I was like, wow, she just asked me out of all people. But, I had been consistent at being her friend and making her laugh and smile. We were friends. She wanted me to go with her. And I think she was just, I think that's when it was senior year. I was like, I don't care. I just want to get out of high school, leave everybody, do my own thing, be a hermit crab, be locked in my room, and try and find a way to become successful. So I basically just started becoming too cool for school my last senior year. And then I just told her, no, I don't want to go to prom. I told her no. So the moral of the story is, like, I didn't want to go to prom with her. But I do remember that really broke her heart. And I can't get that one back. That one I can't get back. And that one hurts. And I knew it hurt her because the person that she did take to prom was somebody I didn't even know. Somebody that nobody even knew. That when I did have friends at the time, I was, do you even know this person? No, we don't. I don't even see. And I remember I'm letting my homie dance with his girl. I don't have anybody. Of course, this sounds like one of those coming to age teen movies, prom, and I don't have anybody to dance with. And she's in this most beautiful dress. She's dancing with so-and-so, the man that she brought. And once again, even he felt it. I can definitely tell he felt it because they sat down and he's chilling on the table, and she just makes her way to me. I don't know what we talked about specifically, but those things had to mean something when she came over to me. So when she came over to me, I couldn't trust what I would say. So, just, glad you're having a good prom. And the only thing I remember was her saying that was, yeah, he doesn't like me being over here. I don't know why I was such a threat, because I didn't feel like a threat to anybody. I'm literally 5'5", 140 pounds. I'm a nerd, bro. I'm a geek. I'm nothing, bro. I'm not even I'm just boring. So maybe it was my charm. I don't know what it was, but I was a threat to anybody who she ever got with. Maybe because I was just too emotional. Nobody could reach her on that level. Maybe behind the camera she talked about me to them like that. So she got up, lifted her dress, went back out on the dance floor. And I knew I couldn't feel like, man, I messed up. I knew I gotta ignore this. So I ignored everything until it just built up and that's when I didn't have her. That's when everything just restarted. This was distant. We just were distant. And that's when everything, and that's when all the music started happening, the trilogy of love, you know. That's when I started stamping how I felt and what I was going to make for her. And for years, I started making music about her. So back to the story where she's in Dallas. I don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure I got emotional. And she said, you know what? I'm going to just leave you alone since you think I'm hurting you so much. Felt relief. I felt scared. Because I was like, damn, what did I do? And I don't remember that gray area. All I know is I'm pretty sure I went crazy because I don't know how to handle emotions. It was all new to me. You know, shaking, feeling sick to my stomach. Like, you don't have that person. I just gotta go throw up. Sleep, who cares? I just gotta listen to music. I'm trying to get away from this pain. So that gray area, simple sickness in my stomach, throw up, don't have her, anxiety, shaking, mad, angry, wish I could be there, wish I had superpowers, fly over there, be with her, wish I was rich, give her everything, or have everything to be with her. Then I got away to college, and it was the darkest times of my life. And, you know, I shave my head, and I don't want to know anybody. And then I step into a room where step into a classroom, professor, step into the room, and there's just like a bunch of musicians, but I didn't know it at the time. But it wasn't until a week or 2 weeks later, 3 weeks maybe, I just couldn't stop thinking about her. So I remember I made this goal. I was like, man, I'm going to be the greatest. I'm going to be the best. And I remember, and I tell this story all the time, that like I gave up when it was that last moment, that last second to be with her right before she went off to Dallas. I gave it all up for her. So all that hunger, all that motivation, I put it in her. But it was just like a batter at the plate. It was a swing and a miss. What are you talking about? I had so much energy. I believe in myself I can hit this. Or I can pull away jump shot, and I believe what do you mean? I have belief. I know I can make this shot. Swing and a miss. Then I went to college. No motivation. A lot of sadness. No hunger. No family members. And the people that I was staying with was my aunt and uncle, but they were in theater, and they just were never home. And if they were sleeping. I'd clean the house. It was just dishes everywhere. Gnats everywhere. Clothes everywhere. And it was just not the best environment. Just felt depressed. For the most part. When I was in college. Just dark. And I remember getting a job. And then I think that's where I just became suicidal. And I had become suicidal previously. You know, I don't tell these stories a lot because I kind of feel like, but when I tell these stories, these are for the people that felt like me. The emotional people that don't realize that who are those emotional people that I'm talking to, that this message, whoever it gets across, that they'll be emotionally intelligent the way I had to work for it, to be emotionally intelligent, to forgive, to move on. I say this to say that when it was the darkest time in my life, a long time ago, I'm pretty sure it was sophomore year, my parents were having a divorce, etc., etc. And I didn't have anybody. The only person that I had was her. And high school is the best times of your life, period. And who was there? Her. I shared my childhood, my high school experience with her. And this is when she was the most inexperienced with her emotions and how she would treat me, especially in a relationship. She was mean. She was so mean. She was just ugly. But when all that started happening, I invested in her. And all I remember, I couldn't tell you step by step, but all I remember is that, she was mean, she was ugly, but all I had was her. And she knew that all I had was her. And there was different versions of her. And this version was like, I know you want me, and I'm going to abuse it. It felt like she abused it. Because all I could remember was texting her, and then I'm running a bath, and there's a razor blade in the bath, and I'm in my room, and I'm just like, my parents are this. This is going on. I'm just gonna end it tonight. And I'm texting her. I know, I'm like, hey, can you stop? And this is how emotional I was, because I would tell her everything. Hey, can you stop? I'm about to do something. And she's just going off. And I'm about to do it. The bath is already set. I'm about to go into the bathroom, and then I get a call from my homeboy, and he saves me. I didn't tell him I was going to kill myself. He didn't know I was going to kill myself. He just calls me. And that's when, friends in high school were just like that. It was a quick call like that. Snapchat, Messenger, just a phone call in general. And so he calls me, and that was the first time I ever wanted to kill myself. And then the last time that I wanted to kill myself was when I'm at college. And there is no hope. It's dark. It's devil, evil energy. I've lost it all, and that was her. I don't care about learning the guitar. I don't have any motivation for this or that. I don't even care about music. I want her. I need her. And if I don't have her, and we haven't talked in months, that's it. It's final. Screw this. I'm going to go kill myself. And I had planned it once again, like a coward. But I sat there and I thought about my whole entire life. And I tried everything. So I thought about God. So when I thought about God, it's like, maybe let me give this Christ thing a shot. Let me give this God thing a shot. Once it did, I never looked back. With him, I was invincible. I was unstoppable. So I tried everything. Nothing worked. Back then, when I was spiritual, meditational, like that, the meditating didn't work anymore. I had to try something new. I'm going to give this God thing a shot. Ever since then, beautiful. Bliss. That started coming together. And when you start reading the Old Testament, and more importantly, the New Testament, you start, those building blocks of why you were emotional become intelligence. So you start learning, you start getting knowledge. Like I said, when you have knowledge, you grow. When you have experience, you grow. I just started growing up. When I started growing up, I was like, I get it now. But I only got it for me. I only got it for myself. So when I started getting it for myself, I started believing in a few things. I want to get in shape. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. But it was always trying to get away from her. Just always trying to get away. If I think about her, let's just start believing in other things. So I started getting excited. I started writing scripts. I started writing my own Joker movie. I started doing things like that. I started just writing. I wanted to write movies. And I was writing short films. But I didn't care about the music. I dabbled in it a couple. But moving forward, I come back to my hometown, because I had moved away to college. And I leave this part out a lot, but she had called me. She said, it's not working out in Dallas. Or how are you doing? I'm like, I'm good. I wasn't good. Because anytime I see her name, anytime I see a message, anything, just wish she would call. And if I did, boom, I would strike. I miss you. I still love you. And everything never left, stuff like that. God, in a second, she's back. She said she was just going to move back. And I couldn't take that. Dropped out of high school. Dropped out of college. And I went after her. But I was still living there. And every now and then, every time that I got the weekends off, or I got some days off, I don't know which ones, but I'd pick her up and I'd be like, I'm on my way. And this was the cool thing, is because we never got to experience, I never got to experience things like that with somebody, picking them up, having my own car. And that's why I say, those are the best times of your life, because you experience something. You see it in movies, you see it with your older siblings or cousins. You see that, and you want that. And I picked her up, and it was late at night. She'd bring her pillow and blanket, and I'm like, holy crap, this is everything that I've ever dreamed of. I feel grown. I feel like I got something of my own. Anyway, I pick her up, and we go to my homie's crib. And I'll just skip to the part where I remember we're on the couch. My homie and his girl, they go upstairs. And we're just on the couch. And we got, Rick and Morty or Bob's Burgers in the background. And I remember the white walls were just reflecting blue. And all I can remember her was in blue light. And I could see her face. And we're face to face, and I'm holding her. And I look at my whole life back when I was in that bed, telling myself, I'm going to kill myself, but before I do, let me give this God thing. And I thought about my whole life. I thought about everything. And I said, what if I just really believe in it? And no, this is the best part in the story of who I am today. Sitting on this couch, or laying down on this couch, face to face, and I tell her, I really want this to work. I mean it. I mean it. And I meant everything that I said to her. And she says, I don't know if you're lying. I don't know if I believe in you, because you always leave. Granted, I did, and I always left. This time it was different. I believed in it. We wake up, about to send her home. Get her something to eat. Little did I know that when I'm driving her home, or to her friend's place, where she was living at the time, park in the driveway, she opens the door. I said, you have a good day. And she gave me this look. She says, you too. Little did I know that was the last time I would ever see her. It's the last time I ever saw her. That was it. Never seen her ever again. That was hard to accept. Got into construction. I got into a car accident, needed money, didn't have a job. So I got into construction, pay off the insurance and my car. I spent a whole year, I think a year and 4 months in construction. But she never existed. Or maybe I got so crazy about her that I felt like she didn't exist. I felt like she was a figment of my imagination. I felt like I just made her up. Because there this love that I had for her that I finally now can get out. Bro. And I thought the music would always bring me back to her. I always described our relationship, me and her, like the movie August Rush, where the mom and the dad, they come back to each other, 10 years later, something like that, because the music led them back together. and their child led them back together. And I felt like that was the thing for me. I loved her so much. I remember back when I was in college that I told her that I loved her so much that I didn't care if she had a kid with somebody else, because she had told me that she had been sleeping with somebody else. And that hurt because I always looked at her innocent. And that was my fault because everybody tried telling me that she was this, she was that. But I didn't see her that. But when it did, it hurt. It hurt seeing her like that. It hurt seeing somebody that you wanted to make love to for the rest of your life just get with somebody else. And I think the thing she told me was like, she wished that she could be my first one, which we never talked sexual at all. I loved her for her. I knew I loved her for her. She was the only relationship that I had that wasn't sexual, because I knew I loved her for her. Her first, middle, and last name. Only saw for her. Everybody else she got with, they went after her parts. But I went after her. I went after her soul. So I felt connected to her. And that's when I started to really I was in construction. I had a lot of time to write, try and get back into that music mindset to get motivated and hungry again. I never could. I felt like the person that I was in high school who was hungry. And if I had thought about it, he would have already made it. And I was like, if this is love, then why can't I have this person? If this is how love is, why does it have me sitting here and not being with her? So I started doubting my faith. I started doubting in God. Because nobody could tell me different on how much I love this person. I loved her so much. It's like, this isn't love. This is wrong. This is wrong. I love her so much, I should be with her. We should be together. So I'm making music. And I'm making music for her. And then I'm making it for me. And nothing. I'm just waiting for her to come back and text me and stuff like that. Nothing. Of course, she followed me on Instagram. And I think the last text message that I ever sent to her was like, miss you, and I hope you're doing good, best friend. That was the last message I had ever sent to her. Years later, 2 years later, I get a notification on my phone, and she had liked that message. And it's just whatever. So I'm in construction, writing music, and I tried boxing. And boxing was the best thing I ever did, because it started helping me understand that if I get out of my comfort zone, a lot of things can happen. And that's when I started to just grow up. And then I found my fiance, as of now, future wife, soon. That, everything I had learned was definitely built up for her. And we had known each other in high school. And of course, she always likes to tell the story that, I ran away and I blocked her. Gosh, that's embarrassing. But I remember when it didn't work out with so-and-so, I came back to my now fiance, future wife. I remember coming back and she was working at this pop and stop. It was a little just store, drinks, candy. And I would go there I would drive all the way to Amarillo. Drive home. I would drive home and try and see her. And at the time, my fiance was with somebody else. And I think that was when God was like, you need to be alone. You need to stop with these women. And my fiance was with the person that she was with at the time, and she said that she really loved him. What do you mean? Boom, swing and a miss again. Whatever. I'm done. I give up. So that's when the construction thing happened, and stopped believing in women. I stopped believing in love because it got me nowhere. And then I just started to grow up. She came back. She was in a toxic relationship, a physical relationship with somebody like that hurt her. So therefore, I think I'm just trying to find another one night stand. Anyway, long story short, it ends up working out. We get a place together, and just fell in love with her. Because everything I had put up with her had finally paid. Like, just she put up with me, and I knew she was the one. Traumas, secrets, things you hide in the closet, dude. Skeletons that you have in the closet. And she loved me and accepted me for me. So, I say this whole story for those people who they feel like I'm not at that place where I can let go. I still love them. This is a story for those people who are emotional, like I was, and feel like whatever they believe is what they believe. And when it comes to love, can't tell them no different. Love trumps everything. So, this story is for them. This is for my emotional people that it took some time. And it still is taking time. Still to this day, I don't know where dreams come from. And I don't want to get too controversial on saying where dreams do come from. But for example, I think why I made this video is because I had a dream about her. And I think when you get to that point in your life where you're like, I'm doing good. I haven't seen this person that I used to love heavily in years. So, is it okay to accept a dream about them that you had? Yeah. For me, and this might be some of y'all, but for me, I accepted the fact that she's my recovery, and I take it day by day. I take it day by day. Of course I still think about her. It'll never leave. But I wanted it so bad, I would try and find ways that if I thought about her, I felt like I had to do something. And then I started growing my mind. If I thought about her, I would do 20 push-ups. I started getting, physical. I started wanting to get into nutrition. If I think about her, 30 minutes on the guitar. And then I started realizing, wow, the mind can do so many things, so many crazy things. And I think this is the biggest part of it all was, for me, I don't think if this part had happened that it wouldn't be stamped as in it's the past. But I'm still in construction, and I'm sitting with my boys, and we're at a restaurant, and my homie tells me, I have these new homies that I'm trying to get introduced to and talk to them, make them laugh and stuff like that. And I tell them about my story about my ex. And the homeboy that I grew up since like 6th grade tells me, yeah, that girl that you're talking about to these guys, yeah, she's pregnant. Just sickness, my stomach just dropped. That hurt. Because like I said, all I seen her was with me, and I believe that. So when she was pregnant, it really put everything into perspective. Now, of course, I was single at the time, and I'm telling myself, you remember what you said to her? You said that if she ever had a kid with somebody else, you'd still love her. So there's a little bit of hope. So this is during the time where I'm still believing in us. I've been trying to move on. But if she ever came back, I'd drop everything and go with her again. The same way when she moved back to the hometown and I moved with her. And then she left again. Anyway. My stomach and my heart just broke. I remember that. I broke when I heard that she was, pregnant. Because that was supposed to be me. That was supposed to be my child. That was supposed to be my life. I believed in it so much that nobody could tell me otherwise. And the sad thing was, man, we're growing up. We're getting old. So you can either reminisce about the past, like a 48-year-old jock, or used to be jock, who's reminiscing the good old days, putting their son into football because they were into football and they're trying to live up to that high school life again. I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be that person that was still stuck in high school. So after a month or two of accepting the fact that she had a child with somebody else, I needed to start doing my life. But she never hit me up. She never said thank you for this. She never said thank you for that. She never had a moment where she was like, maybe I should go and forgive. Maybe I should go and say thank you. I did that. I texted her this one time and said, I need to get this off my chest. And I just texted her, I need to let go of you. But when I texted that, I'll be serious with you. I couldn't let go of her. I'll tell you right now, when at the time that I'm making this video, 11/27, this is the day before Thanksgiving of 2024, that I didn't start forgiving and letting go till about 7 to 8 months ago. So as old as I am now and as far back as that was to me, 8 months ago, I started forgiving. I started really just closing that chapter. And it took some time. It took 5 years. I would tell people, I'm still in love with this person that I was in love with for 6 years, since freshman year. And it wasn't 8 months ago that I'm still with my girlfriend at the time, soon-to-be fiance, soon-to-be wife. She knows that I'm still hung up on so-and-so. But at the time, me and my girlfriend, we don't know what where we're gonna become. So she sees that I'm still on about so-and-so. But it wasn't until 8 months ago, I was like, boom, it all makes sense. It takes time. Trust me, it does. Do I advise anybody to get in a relationship if they're still thinking about somebody else? No. But for me, I knew it was wrong, and I knew how bad I wanted to get out of that, hey, Jesus, I'm going to need some help. So, 8 months ago, if you ask me, I'm still thinking about that person. I'm still making music about that person. And then a couple months ago, I started building this project, and it was called Sorry Not Sorry. It was the last project I put out as Zionity. And I wanted to kill that person off. That wasn't me. I wanted to be me. I want to go by my name. I want to be an artist. I want people to call me by my name, not some alter ego. So I put out Sorry Not Sorry, of that alter ego who is half me and half hungry for music. And so that whole album is literally just I might feel sorry, but this alter ego that I ain't never gonna be sorry. I'm never gonna be sorry. Because this music thing, this is how I'm gonna eat, this is how I'm gonna live, this is how my emotions get to feeling better. So I ain't sorry. So that's what the whole album is me being sorry but not sorry for the people that I lost, for the people I pushed away, friends, family. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I left that in the past. So here I am to tell people, it's going to take some time. It really is going to take some time. That's why I make this video about I had a dream, and I'm working on music, and I'm like, why do I still think about this person? Is it good to think about this? Or is it wrong to think about? I'm in a relationship. I have a fiance. Look, you're never going to forget everything. You're sure as hell ain't going to forget the one person that did you the most, or the one that got away. You never forget that. But you can grow from it. For me, I will always say, just like an alcoholic who's taken the 12 steps, you got to take it day by day. And that's what worked for me. I started to see all the addicts in my life, and I started looking up addicts and how they dealt with it, because that's like something strong that is the strongest thing to overcome. It's really hard. And they take it day by day. So I tell God, I'm like, instead of trying to shame myself or feel bad or get back into the space where I'm like, I miss that person, I tell myself, I'm going to literally think about it, tell myself it's in the past, and it makes me, these memories make me feel good. These dreams make me feel good, because that was a person in my life who was my best friend, that was the best years of my life, was high school. So of course, when somebody in my dream comes from my high school experience, of course, it's okay. It's good to feel. But it's not okay to dwell in what could have been. You have to dwell in what you want to make. And what I want to make is my history, my path, my story, the same way that they have their story and they're living their life. They're not thinking about me. I have to continue. And there's these little tricks. I'm not here to give anybody advice. I'm just here to comfort. But like, there will be things that like trip you up to see if you want to, like, how bad do you want it? They might send a text message to you saying, hey, how you doing? And you're like 3 weeks in to being a changing person, moving forward, and they come back and they send, and you want to just dip on the changing, go right back to them. Like, those will be the little things that come at you. And if it happened now, it's not because of my faith. It's not because of my fiance. It's because of me, that I don't care anymore. Mm-hmm. I still think about that person, of course. I have to take it day by day. And I tell my current friends at the moment, like, I still think about them. And there's nothing wrong about that. There's nothing wrong about that. It's okay. Because everything happens for a reason. And you have to be optimistic. You have to have faith. You have to believe. Because if you don't, you're going to be stuck in that place. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I spent 6 years trying to get over this person. And I'll be damned if I was going to let it go 7. But you got to move forward. Because now I'm invested in my job. Now I'm invested in my profession. Like, I want to make it. And I'm in the grind. I'm grinding. And then I'm like, this song or this lyric reminds me of that back in the day with that person. Those days were the best days of my life. That's where you thank God that you have something like that. And I always related to The City of Angels with Nicolas Cage. And my favorite song, Iris. Love that song. And I always felt like that was it. That you could be a person that never experienced love. and go around looking at everybody who is in love, trying to understand what that even feels like. But I'm at a point in my life where I have to be optimistic. You have to be positive, because it's those characteristics that help me hurdle any failures or anything. Man, I want to be great. Well, you got to be positive. You got to be optimistic about who you were and where you want to be. So, hey, I'm going to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for giving me the experience to literally forgive this person. And thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for giving me such an experience that not a lot of people go through. That's how bad I want it. That I need to move forward. So you start gaining all these characteristics and these little mind tricks that are actually in your benefit to help you move forward and grow. So I started becoming optimistic. Thank you, Lord. And still to this day, if I do think about that person, I'm like, let me talk about it with the Lord. Because I think the one thing that condemns me is seeing all these Instagram reels about, hey, you ask God for so many things, but you never really sit down and have a conversation. And before I turned on the camera, before I started pressing record, I was just talking to the Lord. And I realized, you know what? I think I want to just record this, because this is history. Because I want to be able to have a child and tell them, sweetheart, son, hey, your pops has got like a whole history in library about love. Because if I know anything about my child, 100% they're going to be emotional. It's my job and it's my duty to gain these characteristics, because I want to have a child one day. And I love the idea of having a family so much that I'm willing to go to the gym, eat the right nutrition, and be optimistic and gain all these characteristics that are really good, and have a good life so that my children can have a good life. And not only to have everything that I've always wanted to give them, but to give them, traits that'll help them in the real world. So it just starts with that. Before, it was trying to stop thinking about my ex. 20 push-ups. I actually want to be really good at music. Yeah, let's do 30 minutes here. It turned into an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Hands are calloused. I actually want to start learning piano. I actually want to get into boxing. Let me do that. I want to get my cardio up. I want to start running. I'm just believing. And then you start getting to that point where you feel like a juggler. You're juggling and you're like, you know what? Let me add one more thing. But for me, there's a lot of things that I try and find motivate me, and there's days that I don't feel motivated and I have to be disciplined. But if I have to get something going in my head, I got to think about the dark times. I have to think about the hard times. I have to think about the 2 jobs. I have to think about no jobs. That's what drives me now. I have to think about who I was and where I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be lazy. I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to be those things anymore. So I think about, like, do you remember what you were doing? And I still use those characteristics, those traits, and just go into the gym and just rep it out to be as far away as I can from that person. And then I'll think about, hey, we're at that age where we're thinking about a child, or we're going to have a child. So we have to press the gas pedal, regardless if I'm not financially ready for a child. You never will be. So I push the gas pedal, and that drives me to learn all these characteristics and traits to have a child. So I can grow, so I can look at everything, and I look back, and I'll be 50 years old in my rocking chair with my grandchildren, and just being like, it all started back in high school. It all started just like that. I'll be the first to say that it's my life, and my career, my success didn't start until I got heartbroken for the first time in high school. And then the second time was when that happened. I was emotionally everywhere. So I had to try and find ways to be emotionally together. And that's why I sit here today, to comfort anybody in a time where they don't understand where to go, how to go, and they look at all these videos and they wish they could do that, but they don't really know. They're like, I don't believe in that. I used to be that person that's looking up videos. And I'm just like trying to find like, man, how do I get over her? I'm getting really specific. There's got to be a drug. And look, man, it's just life, dude. And so when you have a dream or a memory that pops up and is like, hey, you remember this? Yeah, I do. That was good. Thank you, Lord. Move on. Keep going. Because with my faith, I can say this 100%, that I officially understand that now it's not all about the money. Of course, I want to be secure. But I know it's not all about the money. That what I'm doing right here is going to lead me into just heaven. Beyond heaven's gates. Something amazing that I can't even imagine. And if I can't imagine it, then that's how it's got to be amazing. It's got to be the most beautiful thing ever. It really does. So, look, it gets better. It really does get better. And you just take it one day at a time. You take it one day at a time. I don't know if I have anything else left to say until, I don't know, something happens. But I'm in love with getting up in the morning and trying to be the best guitar player, be the best musician. I love it. Because it helps me. It helps me become in my own skin. Believe, man. Believe. There's still some friends till this day that I don't talk to. And I'm scared to talk to. I'm as human as anybody. I'm as raw as it gets. And, you know, back in the day when I was younger, a lot of people would tell me, you're too emotional. That's just too much. And I could say now that I'm the most realist person when it comes to life and experience. That I think this is what the Lord, has sent me to do. So I still got a couple things to work out myself with some friends that I don't talk to. And, dude, just believe in the Lord, man. Just believe in the Lord. Have a relationship with Him. I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for my Lord and Savior. And I get it. A lot of people might be hurt by the church or the word. But trust me, whatever church hurts you, that's not the word of God. Or whatever your family member, mom, dad, cousin, uncle, brother, sister has hurt you by the word. That's not God's word. And I know it's hard to tell somebody who is a theist or an atheist. But I used to be that. I used to be an atheist and theist. Not 100% atheist, but I knew there was a God, but I kept him at that. I believe in God. There's a God, right? But look, I had no other option. And if you're like me and you have no other option, and it becomes suicidal and it becomes dark, and you tried everything, but you really haven't committed to Jesus, yeah, that'll do it. And that was the last thing I ever did. I used to just meditate, but now here I am. And I love reading the New Testament. I love reading the Gospels. And I love just wanting to achieve things to make myself have value. So, life is beautiful. And even in the dark times, yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to really just... But if I had to say one thing, and I'm learning it now, learn how to fail the right way. I used to fail the wrong way. So learn how to fail the right way. just because failure happens doesn't mean it ain't never gonna work out. For me, failure just motivates me. I love watching Michael Jordan and what he has to say. I love watching Kobe and what he has to say. I like seeing the greats at what they do because they put in all the time and effort. I love seeing John Mayer be the GOAT at guitar. And there's no special trick. It's just hard work. So who are you behind closed doors when nobody sees you? And if you do something incorrect or sin, and it doesn't affect you, that's a scary person. But if it does affect you, then you know what you're doing isn't right. And you know your spirit is trying to say, hey, this is wrong. Let's ask for forgiveness and move forward. So, that is definitely all I have to say. But tomorrow's Thanksgiving. And the last thing I'll say is, if I had to be the most realist person, I don't like letting people in too much. But I don't know why I'm making this, and I've never done anything like this. So I say this to say that Thanksgiving's tomorrow, and we have a lot of things. We have a lot of family members that we're not too close with or have a, strain in our relationship. But I'm here to say that for me personally, I'm keeping God with me tomorrow. And God would want me to treat his child the way he treats me. So any kind of strained relationships that you have in your family, let it go. For real. Let it go. Because tomorrow you either got to woman up or man up. And for me, I'm going to do right by myself, my family. Because I don't want to be that person that never forgives and never got to live my life in full without forgiveness and walk in the word. So, look, forgive, let it go, because for me, I want to move forward. And there's sometimes I'm like, why can't I move forward? And the Lord's like, did you forget about the people you didn't forgive? Yeah, but what is that? Why does that matter? Son, that matters because to where you want to get, to why you pray to me, you got to do all these things. You're my child. And a child of mine does not learn the characteristics to abuse. A child of mine will forgive and spread the word that I've told you to spread, that I've given you to spread. So you must go forgive them. But Lord, son, I never gave up on you, and you shouldn't give up on them. Yes, Lord. Okay, I'll go forgive. As much as it hurts and as much as it grits my teeth, just, okay, I'll go forgive, Lord. And when you forgive, and you really want to walk by the word, and you really want to get into heaven and see the loved ones that you lost, put that ego crap away. Put your pride away, man. I'd rather die knowing I did everything I could instead of being on my deathbed and saying, you know what? I had so much pride in my life. I'll just die an angry old man. I've been angry my whole life, and I don't want that. I was angry my whole life. And I'm not going to let that be the last feeling I have before I go to Christ. So, forgive. Forget your ego. Forget your pride. Love, it's Thanksgiving, and you never know when tomorrow could be your last, and you have to think like that. And you might not want to go back to work after, the holidays and stuff like that, but listen, you got to drown yourself out with things that make you feel like you don't have to think about, it's a Monday. I'm glad Mondays happen. I'm glad they happen because I can re-up. My body is healed. I've taken time off at the gym, and my boom, I'm back in it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, music, boxing, the gym, learning Spanish, reading the gospel, having a relationship with God, like those things drive me. And then wanting to learn other things, how to write a screenplay, how to write a book, or, how to do choreography, like how to do all these things, because I told myself back in high school that I wish if I had to do it different, or if I had to tell my child or my little brother how to do it different, I'd say, bro, when you start high school, do everything. And when I said that to my little brother, why did I stop saying that? Why do I think that just because you're in high school, you should do everything, and when you get out, that's it? No. So I took my own advice. I remember saying, I was like, wow, I should quote that. I should put that in like my book or something. But no, I said, this is life. I'm going to do everything I can because that's what it is. Just because high school's over doesn't mean you can't try everything. So I'm trying to define the odds. You see all these people that are working out, and you want a six-pack, and you want a chest, and you want to have the best body of your life, the same way you see it on TVs and movies and superhero shows. I want that. And for me, I'm slowly but surely getting there. And it's crazy to see that there is change. If I work hard enough, then I can get that. So when it comes to the holiday seasons and you're dreading a Monday, man, if you love it so much, you'll love a Monday. Because for me, I feel like I'm refreshed. I can go back at it again. And then I'm burnt out. Go back. Mondays, love Mondays because I get to do it all over again. There will be hard times, man. But it depends on how bad you want it, that you want to get out of that hard time and have that hard time as a lesson, as a tool, as a story to help others. I'm not here to give anybody advice. I'm here to comfort those when I felt like I needed comfort and there wasn't a specific video, there wasn't a specific person that felt the way I felt. So, I don't care if this video reaches 2 people, 1,000,000 people. Love Jesus, love yourself, forgive others, and have fun. Don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going. That's what drives me. I started out saying how I lost the one that got away, and now I have the most beautiful girl in the world. So, happy Thanksgiving. Stay blessed. And forgive those people that cut you off in traffic. Change the way you think. Change the way you speak. Change the way you carry yourself. God bless.